Welcome to the Becoming Aware podcast, where I, Genevieve Faulkner, share what I'm becoming aware of.
Hello and welcome to Becoming Aware. My name is Genevieve Faulkner, and today I wanted to talk to you guys about soulmates. Now, I don't mean the romantic fairy tale ideal of, someone that you just see and it's love at first sight and then you spend the rest of your life with them. I'm talking about the relationships that you can have with people that spans over lifetimes, but often they're not necessarily romantic ones. Soulmates can be friends, kids, lovers, workmates, and they're people, from my point of view, that we have had multiple lifetimes with, and they can be such a contribution to our lives and such an invitation for us to step into being more of us and really grow if we allow them to. And I don't necessarily mean the ones that are easy. I mean the difficult ones as well. So, a couple of things with regards to soulmates. First of all, when you first meet them, how do you know if they're a soulmate? When you first meet a soulmate, often you will have this kind of knowing of them. It's like their being, you remember them. And sometimes that can create this, just this, my God, we're here again, I just want to be with you. Yet at the same time, soulmate relationships can be incredibly conflictual because you've got multiple realities playing out at once. And you've had many different roles that you may have played for this person or they've played for you. And so as you probably know, when you have any kind of relationship, you can create points of view, you can create judgments, you can create all sorts of projections and expectations. And sometimes they get locked in the subconscious and they can come with us into the next lifetime or agendas. And so we can have like these conflictual universes with soulmates when they show up, of absolutely loving them and at the same time absolutely hating them, or being just enraged by them, or irritated, or having this desire to heal them. It can be very different depending on the soulmate that shows up. But there can be all sorts of different agreements, obligations, commitments that we've made in other lifetimes that can play out within soulmate relationships too. So if you meet someone and there's a lot of intensity, you either just really want to be with them, or you cannot stand them and you just wish that they'd leave the room. Chances are they're a soulmate. As I said, like they can be. Sometimes you can meet some that it will just be ease with, and there will just be this remembrance of each other, and there'll be this peace, and you can just kind of be with them, and there's not kind of a lot required in order to create the relationship. One of the gifts about soulmate relationships, if you're somebody who is aware, you'll often remember them from other lifetimes, and you remember what they are capable of, or they might remember what you're capable of. And so they can be a real invitation for you to reclaim those parts of you that maybe you're not being in this lifetime yet. But in order to actually have that integrate, you've got to be willing to receive from them, or they've got to be willing to receive from you. Sometimes they're not willing to be more than what they are in this lifetime, or you're not willing to be more than what you are in this lifetime. Or you can be aware of the agendas of each other, and that can create this kind of push and pull dynamic with regards to the relationship. What tends to happen a lot of the time, in my experience, is that if you've got a lot of points of view within your subconscious about relationships, unhealed stuff with relation to your childhood, and the way your parents treated you, and that's affecting your self-esteem or your ability to receive and be loving to yourself, then often you'll pull in soulmates to bring up those patterns. And sometimes that can be by acting out similar roles to the way that you were treated in childhood, or the way that you were treated in past relationships, so that you bring up that wounding and you can address it so that you can move beyond it. Okay. So if you kind of like meet someone and it's like, all that intensity is there, and then all of a sudden it's like you're playing out similar stuff to childhood, you want to look at, okay, what is this person inviting me to unravel and heal within myself? And what are you inviting them to unravel and heal? Because often when that occurs, you will have pulled in someone that also maybe requires the healing too, because they'll have kind of the same wounds, or they'll have opposite wounds, so that you can kind of, in a sense, like play whatever part, the opposite part to the other. I do believe that soulmate relationships are incredibly multi-dimensional. So sometimes, like, if you just look at it from this reality's point of view, or what is happening in the physical world, you may not get the sense of the whole picture of what is occurring between the two of you. So I've had like a lot of soulmate relationships. I think that when you're on a path of kind of, desiring a lot of awareness, wanting to grow, like, you will pull in a lot of soulmate relationships to assist you in that growth. I've had ones that have been incredibly beautiful and like ease to be with. And then I've also had ones that have been difficult. One was like a relationship with a woman that I had, not like a romantic one, but one that I had this woman in my life for a very long time. And what's interesting about soulmates is they'll often show up in groups. So we can have like kind of like these, I guess soul families maybe, or, groups of beings that tend to come together. And so, when you meet one, often you'll find that when you meet one, you'll have all of these people connected to them that you've known before as well. So I had like this woman in my life for a really long time who was a soulmate, and I remembered her from other lifetimes, and there was that kind of caring and that love for her. Yet in this lifetime, she was someone that I found quite difficult to be around. And part of the reason for that was because she had this intense desire for control. And when someone has an intense desire for control, often the way in which they will control is by trying to gaslight the people around them so that they feel like the most superior one. So one of the things that she used to do is she had this incredible psychic ability to tap into any insecurity, and she would voice something in order to try and, get the person triggered or get me triggered, so that I was in that place of kind of disempowerment. And so you can look at that from this reality and kind of be like, wow, that's so mean. And yet, because she was someone that I was kind of having to engage with, and it wasn't at the time like a possibility to just kind of not have a relationship with her, I had to really look at like, what is the gift of having this in my life? Like, how can I really use this to my advantage? And one of the things that came out of that was I started to use that as a way in which to see the places and spaces within myself that I hadn't yet healed. So there would be times where she would say something and there would be no reaction within me. There would be times where she would say something and I wouldn't react, but I would be triggered. The reason why I wouldn't react is because I was aware of the subconscious agendas that she had at the time, which was to get me to a place of reaction so that I could get into a fight with her, so that then it would validate her points of view based upon the relationships that she'd had in the past with other women. And this is what occurs with soulmate relationships a lot of the time. I wasn't willing to play that role because I didn't want to repeat the pattern. I wanted to go beyond the pattern. So I was, in a sense, like willing to be aware enough to see what was going on and demanding enough within myself to not actually let her have the control over me, to put me in that position to act that out with her. So I would choose to not react in her presence. And instead, each time I would engage with her and I'd get triggered, I'd go away, and I'd already kind of like learnt a lot of different energy healing techniques and mindset training at this point. So, and theta healing, which is a way of changing the subconscious beliefs you have. And so I would go away and I would look at what those triggers were, and I would do healing around them so that they were no longer there. And so every single time that occurred, it was a invitation that allowed me to reclaim more of me and get out of judgment of me. Because if you have anybody in your life that is doing that, if anybody is like trying to push your buttons, or they're, just trying to find your Achilles heel to disarm you and have power over you, no one can have that power over you if you don't have a point of view about whatever it is that they're saying. So in order for anything like that to work, you have to already have the point of view within you, okay? You already have to believe that, whatever it is that they're saying is true, or a part of you has to believe that, or you're fighting against that judgment. If you don't have that point of view, it's like it just goes through you. It doesn't even matter what they say. And so even though it wasn't the easiest soulmate relationship to have, and even though it was, in a sense, you could say that it was incredible, like mean in this reality, there is also, like, I'm also quite grateful for having that, because it did allow me to grow. And that's what I kind of wanted to, I guess, communicate to you guys, because any relationship you have, you can go into the judgment of the behavior that somebody has, or you can go and kind of look at from a different point of view, or a different space, or have a different perspective on it. And it can allow you to shift the energy within you and then transform into greater. Another example is I had a beautiful soulmate relationship in my early 20s that started out as a friendship and became romantic, and it ended pretty quickly. I was very quite needy at the time. I had a lot of wounds. I had a lot of unresolved stuff from my childhood and from my parents divorcing, and he wasn't really in the place of wanting a relationship based upon his wounding also. And so it didn't last very long, but there was this incredible connection with him. And this is the thing with soulmate relationships, is because you will perceive parts of their being from like beyond this world, or you might recognize them from other times, other lifetimes, other spaces, realities, dimensions. You can kind of like have this awareness of their beings that maybe other people don't necessarily get, or that they, they just don't get. And so it was a little bit like that with him. Like I had like this kind of intense connection to him where like I was very aware of his thoughts, and I kind of would have all of these psychic kind of encounters with him. And so it became quite an obsessive thing for me. And it took me, I had like all of these kind of points of view about, and projections and expectations about wanting to be with him, even after we broke up. And it kind of was because of the intensity of the psychic connection that we had. It was quite kind of hard to be close in the same kind of area. And so having that experience actually motivated me to go travel and see the world, and grow. And during that journey, like this psychic connection kind of went on for quite a long time. And part of that was, my romantic fantasies of maybe one day something occurring. But it got to the point of it making me feel like I was going to go crazy because I couldn't make sense of why I couldn't get this person like out of my thoughts. And so I ended up going to a psychic because I needed help. And it was during that session with the psychic that she acknowledged the telepathic connection that we had, which then meant that I had to acknowledge that, which effectively put me, although I had kind of acknowledged my psychic capacities before that, I wasn't fully aware of the extent of how aware I was. And so having that experience put me on the path of exploring the psychic world. From there, I kind of went on and did psychic development training. I did the energy healing training techniques that I did, because I wanted to kind of reclaim me and go beyond like where I was. And that is kind of, and I'm so grateful to him for being kind of like this catalyst of, by choosing to end the relationship with me, he, in a sense, put me on this path of me rediscovering parts of me and reclaiming parts of me. And, and then, from there, like in the psychic class, I met another soulmate, and he contributed a lot to me for a very long time also. And so, but this is the thing that I wanted to get across with this, is that often, like, I'll do sessions for people with similar experiences where they'll meet someone and they'll have these intense, feelings and connections, and they'll just want to be with this person. And yet that's not necessarily what that person is showing up for. So when you get out of the projections and expectations of it being this romantic union or a happily ever after experience, you can start to look at it from a different place and be in question about, what is the gift of this? What is the reason this person is showing up? What are they trying to assist me to unravel and heal? And what parts of me are they inviting me to step into being and reclaiming? This is what I would like to invite you guys to look at, because, if you are having any of these kinds of experiences with soulmates where either, they're wanting to have power over you, they've got all sorts of agendas, they're like, you've got all sorts of like love-hate stuff playing out, or you've got this obsessive type thing happening, there's a gift to it. There's a reason why it is happening. And there is more of you to claim. There's more of you to acknowledge. And also, like, what are you contributing to the other person's world? What are you facilitating for them? What gift are you being that you haven't acknowledged? Because sometimes it might be that you're playing a role in order to facilitate them out of something based upon maybe you remembering them and their capacities from other lifetimes, and kind of making a commitment to assisting them at some point in time on their journey of growth. If any of that feels kind of like true for you as you listen to this, I will say I've had that experience too. You want to make sure that if you are someone that is trying to contribute to somebody else's growth, that you do not attach to them reclaiming any part of themselves or growing in a particular way, because if you do, they will often, because with soulmate relationships, there is quite a telepathic link between the two of you because of all the lifetimes that you've spent with one another. They will often pick up on the subconscious agendas. And if you've got any kind of attachment to them being something, or, or receiving something, they'll probably go into resistance of you just to prove that they you are the one that gets to choose in their life, and that you don't have the control. And so being willing to acknowledge the gift that you are, yet not requiring them to be anything that they could be, is key to setting you free from the entanglement that can occur between soulmates sometimes, because we can have all sorts of often we'll kind of like meet a soulmate with a particular wounding that is similar to our own, and then we'll desire them to heal it, and want it for them so much. And yet if you actually instead focus on you and go within and heal that wounding within you, then you can be the invitation for them to step into what they haven't yet stepped into. But if you focus on them, it can create this kind of toxic cycle of no one kind of moving beyond the insanity of whatever the wounding is. So I am actually doing a series on this coming up at the end of the month, in May. We will be looking at all of these different kind of dynamics of any soulmate relationship that you're having or that you've had. We will be kind of unraveling the stuff from other lifetimes, getting more awareness about what it is that you have chosen to meet up for in this lifetime by tapping into the parts of your being beyond this lifetime, and just kind of untangling anything that's unresolved between the two of you, so that you can actually have something greater. And so it doesn't matter whether or not you have this person in your life now, or whether or not it's a past relationship. It doesn't matter whether it's romantic or some other kind of relationship. There's learning in all of it. You've just got to be willing to actually look at what is there and desire something different. And what can occur when you do the healing on yourself, because with soulmates, often there is such an energetic connection. Things can change dynamically for the other person. Sometimes they can start showing up completely different because you no longer have the points of view that require you to be treated in a certain way. And so they will start to treat you in a different way. Or then maybe what they came to assist you with is complete and off they go. And then somebody else shows up and you start pulling in the new soulmates that are on a different vibrational frequency, that are there to contribute to you in your growth in your new vibration. So if that sounds like something that you would like to partake in, or if you want to check out just more information about that, I'll leave a link below this video. And if anyone has any questions about soulmates, feel free to leave them in the comments or write to me. I'm more than willing to do some more videos about this if people desire them. Thanks for listening, guys. Till next time. Bye.